Alright, I've been asked several times in the past to knap small cobbles of this kind of stuff. So that's what this video will be. I will see what I can get out of these cobbles. Now these I consider to be higher grade, but I'm not going to heat treat these before I knap them. They can be heat treated just like this in the cobble state. But I'm going to knap them raw, or I'm going to start breaking into these and see if I can knap some little bifaces out of these. Alright, so let me just get a snapshot and then I'll start. Okay. So, yeah. I can see why I've been asked to do these, because they're hard to do, but they're very common as far as finding these. They're easy to find, relatively speaking, compared to the bigger nodules. And if you guys can get good at knapping these, this is almost an unlimited supply. There's a ton. Well, there's thousands of tons or millions of tons of this type of cobble stuff. So you won't be hurting for material if you can just knap it. That's the trick. Now, is there a way to crack these in half? Yeah, but they're hard to hang on to since they're so small. To crack them in half, you got to be able to hang on to them firmly. Firmly grasp them. Yeah. I'm just testing it right now to see how easy it naps. Okay. It'd be nice if I could crack this in half. I'm just hitting it like this. That's not a bad angle, it just won't release. Let's see. Let's try the hammer. Got some sparks. Oh yeah, I did. There are some incipients in there, incipient cracks. You can see the sparks, I think. I just need to get into a position where I can start zigzagging it. I might already be there. I think that aluminum billet did some damage. Yeah, it did do some damage in there. So there's some unreleased flakes. Or partial fractures. There's also incipient bulbs and incipient fractures from nature. Alright, let's see if I can start zigzagging now. That wiped out the back end. I don't know how it hit there. Not paying attention. See the little bulb, incipient bulb? Yeah, unreleased fracture in there. I almost split it in half with that aluminum billet. It looks like. If that crack goes all the way through, see that crack right there? There's a crack right here. It goes all the way around. Well, across. I might be able to save the top part. So this is raw. It's not heat treated, not yet. I don't know if I will heat treat it. I'll probably just knap it raw. It probably will be an hour and a half of just knapping these little cobbles in a raw state. Yeah, learning how to knap these little cobbles is fine, but if you want to learn how to knap the big stuff, this won't help you. This will just help you learn how to knap the small stuff. Yeah, the big stuff is a whole different ball game. So I probably should have done most of this with indirect percussion, because that aluminum, striking it with the aluminum, looks like it broke it up in the middle, and then it was too weak to hold together once I start breaking into it. Let's see. It's 2 inches. It's still arrowhead size. There's a couple flakes, or there's some flakes that can be heat treated. This one's probably a little bit too thin and curved, but you can heat treat that one. Maybe, maybe not. If you're desperate, you can do the small stuff. Yeah, indirect percussion will help you conserve on the material if you're doing small nodules. That's one of the main advantages of indirect percussion, is the ability to preserve the material, although I didn't preserve it all that well right now, but you don't have to lose much off of the sides or the length if you use indirect percussion, because it's pretty accurate. This is almost too tough to knap raw effectively. It's almost too tough. I think I can get a little point out of it. Yeah, I'm hitting very, very hard. Okay. All right. Now we're at a transition stage where it's almost there. The glove is starting to interfere. This brings back some memories, but it's been a long time since I broke into some of this really hard gravel. All right, let's do the steel. The aluminum works well, but I can't really beat the steel for getting in there and eliminating the tough spots. It's hard to beat with this raw stone. The steel is hard to beat. It's got few advantages, but that's one of them. The steel has few advantages. But getting into these vital spots on really hard stone is possible with steel. Now I can't zoom in because my camera was acting up. We'll try it anyway. See if it behaves itself this time. Now, a lot of my old videos have small points. If you want to go back and look. Now some of you end up with stuff like this. If you're ending up with this, you're just halfway there. You just need to do the rest of it. Some of you start out with a big biface and you end up with this, but you can knap this into a point. Just gotta stick with it. This is the almond that a lot of people get, but it can be knapped into a point. In theory, as long as I'm careful with it, these do break in half. Yeah. These do present problems with islands and turtlebacks. Just gotta figure out where you can hit with bold flakes to remove the thick spots in the turtlebacks. Be careful you don't hit your fingers when you're doing this, because you will be highly discouraged after hitting your fingers a couple times. Oh yeah. That ran right across. That's what I'm talking about. Oh yes. Indirect percussion with steel is so good for this. We'll see if my luck doesn't run out. It's going to be thick when I finish it, because if I try to thin it too thin, the step fractures will start rearing their ugly heads. Oh yes. We do not want the step fractures. If we're going to spend the time working these little bitty nodules, at least want it to look good. Or try to anyway. Which I can feel that. It's extremely hard stone. It's like I'd put on the same hardness scale as Rhyolite, although it runs flakes better than Rhyolite. But I gotta hit it extremely hard. Just like if I was knapping a Rhyolite. Although this is better than Rhyolite. I think I already said that. Because the flakes run better on this kind of stuff than Rhyolite. Alright. Just opportunistic like always. This is the kind of stuff that I learned on, and I started with small points. So this is a thing, at least I did it. Maybe you don't see many people working these little nodules. I know there's guys that have commented recently that work the small nodules. I know who you are. Yep. I see your comments. So it is a thing, but it's not common. You guys that work the small stuff are troopers, because a lot of guys just throw away this kind of debitage. They don't want to deal with it for a couple reasons. One, it's kind of a pain, and two, you can't sell these in case you need money, gas money, or whatever. These little points, you can sell them for $5 each, but that's it. Maybe. So you don't see very many of this size made by modern knappers. You see plenty of them made by ancient knappers. How do they do it? Well, they use better material than this, or they had extremely hard bone or antler to work with. Where do you get extremely hard bone and antler? You just have to experiment. Some antler is weak and some antler is strong. I guess it just depends on the health of the deer or the animal. I've gone through many antlers and they were not the same. Some of them are very strong and dense. Some of them are very weak and lightweight. I'm going to try to thin this down some more, but not too much more. there's a very real chance of snapping this in half. Even at this size. Moving the edge this way on this middle part so I can try to run some flakes into the middle. Let's see. It's getting hard to see. Sun's starting to go down. Yeah, sun's starting, or it's getting overcast. I'm losing light. Some of you might be wondering, what is this stone called? I mean, yeah, gravel chert, but what kind of gravel chert? What's the fancy name for it? I don't know. We call it eBay Primo. Yeah. Something like that. As good a name as any. They invent their names anyway. I separated this out as being one of the higher quality ones. Right? Yeah, pressure flakes just fine. All right. I wouldn't say great, but it's just fine. Requires some effort, but it can be done. Greater than 0. Right? I learned that on Twitter. As long as it's greater than 0, you can hang everything on it. Yep. You can hang the weight of the world on something that's greater than 0. Yep. That's all you need. It's a little finger hold. So I can say, yeah, it's nappable as long as it's greater than 0. I'm being sarcastic. Even if it's greater than 0, a lot of times, even I would say, no, don't bother with it. Just move on. It is too much of a torture. Yep, even I've been known to nap nasty, nasty stuff. And people will bring me nasty, nasty stuff to nap during nap-ins. And I will usually try to nap it. Usually. If I've seen it bunches and bunches of times already, I might go, well, I've tried that many times already, and I'm gonna say right now that that's not nappable, or yeah, it's nappable with the help of a big energy drink, or warm up with some calisthenics beforehand. Make sure you've got steel tools. It's gonna eat up the copper. If you want to use antler, get the tissues out, because you'll be crying all day. I'll say stuff like that. If I don't want to nap it. Yeah. All right. I'm going to do some more indirect percussion and push my luck. Well, no, I need to improve the edge a little bit better. There's spots that are way too thick to hit with indirect percussion, so let me just thin it down on the edge just a little bit. can probably finish it off with pressure, but you know me, I prefer my indirect. You don't know? You didn't know me? Yep, that's me. That's just me. Some of you guys can power through this stuff with pressure flakes. And you say it's not a problem at all. In fact, that's what you should do, because it makes more sense. Trying to be all logical and you're not even doing the logical thing. Yeah. Being logical is hard. Yep. Will it yield better results if I pressure flake it? Maybe. No, there's no way to know. All right, all you can go by is previous experience. I haven't pressure flaked this down really thin in the past because I just use indirect. It's 1.5 by 1. So I don't have much experience thinning these down with pressure. I thin these down with percussion. All right, that's my thing. I'll get more into pressure. I have been getting more into pressure flaking. I do most of my delicate work off camera though, because it's the posture. I can't get it on camera. I can't get it on camera effectively. I have to nap way out here where it's all clumsy. When I nap with pressure, I'm right close to my body, and I can't get the camera to focus or to get close enough. And it's also my hands get in the way. There. So that's why. That's why I don't get it on film. It's too hard, too difficult. I could probably figure out how to get the camera to get in there and film the intense pressure flaking. Probably. Dang. This stuff is so hard. Really tough. Yeah, and without a good platform, it's step fractures. It's already 28 minutes. I'm only supposed to be doing this 15 minutes at a time. I got other ones sitting there. Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to get that turtleback out without putting in a really concave base or getting it even more narrow than this. If I narrow it down, I might be able to do it. Make it more narrow. I have not been getting that many questions on this, so maybe I'm answering the questions better in the videos. good. Hopefully the videos are covering the topic better, so I don't get too many questions. Yeah, I use the coarse abrader on this so it actually knocks off flakes. That soft abrader doesn't knock off flakes from the edge. It doesn't really do much. Why do I want to knock off flakes? It's faster than using a pressure flaker to knock off little bitty flakes. Seems like it's taking forever just for a little bitty point. But that's the way it goes. Yeah. A lot of times it takes just as long to make a small one as it does a big one. Yeah, just because it's small doesn't mean it's fast. Just because it's small doesn't mean it's done quickly. I'm definitely going to try to get that step fracture out of there, but I don't know from what angle. They used to leave those in back in the day. And I'll show you some more artifacts. I've got some more that I'm going to show. I'll show you that they used to leave these step fractures in. You've already seen them on this last batch of Guillermo's rocks. That's if you kept your eyes open during the video. Some people say, yeah, okay, they've got step fractures on the artifacts, but you know what? I don't like step fractures at all, so I'm just going to ignore that fact. I'm going to ignore it. Yeah. Some people do that. It's like they never saw the artifacts with step fractures. Nope, unacceptable. Yeah, it's on the real ones, but they're unacceptable. Because I want to make them like they used to make them. Step fractures are unacceptable. They have that. Sometimes it seems that's what they do in their brain. They contradict themselves. I want to make them like they used to make them, except no step fractures. Yeah. It's kind of a contradiction there. There's something weird going on there. Alright, one last try to thin it down more than this. Grind down the edges really good. Now on the real ones I don't see much grinding like this. So they were doing a lot of pressure flaking, I suppose. Just hoping and praying that they wouldn't crush the edge, which they did, and they just left it in if it happened. But in most cases, the real artifacts, if they are sharpened, they're sharpened well. Yeah, if they took time to sharpen it, the ones they took time to sharpen are sharpened very well. Not just adequately sharpened, but very well sharpened. If they took the time. I've seen some points that have extremely fine serrations and sharp edges and nice points and all that. It looks like it took them forever. So I'm guessing that they took their time instead of whipping them out fast. Although they could have been whipping them out fast because they were very skilled. I don't know for sure. I'm assuming it took a long time to do the delicate stuff. Extra time and effort. Go that extra mile to do the delicate sharpening and thin flaking and all that. I don't know if I can get it any thinner. Yeah, without risking breaking it. I don't want to break it on video. I've gone this far with it. I don't want to break it on video. So what would I do as far as notching and stuff? Well, corner notches are cool. I can do side notches on this one. If I do, I need to get these thinner. These sides. Come on. Yeah, side notching this is going to be not too fun. Or I can just do a concave base. Take the easy way out. I can do a concave base and side notches. How's that? Ouch. I hit that super hard. It didn't do anything. Alright. It's starting to test my patience. Dang it. It's going to make me break it in half. Yeah. It's just messing with me. It wants me to break it in half. Yep. I'm probably going to have to do a deep concave base and some shallow side notches in order to get that thin down enough to be a good arrowhead. What do I mean by good? Something that'll fit in this haft. Yeah. All right. I might not nap the other ones then. I might not get to these other ones. I don't know. We'll see. The good thing about this, it's not like Obsidian where I'm sitting here worrying about the flakes. These are not itchy flakes either. It's just normal, tame chert flakes. No issues, no problems. They don't jump around across the shop. They don't fly everywhere. Nice. I say nice because it flaked without step fracturing. So these flakes are following through. A lot of times when you get this kind of stuff, the flakes don't like to travel. but it's not really grainy. It's fine grained. It's not coarse grained, so it's good. As long as the platforms are good. Yeah, as long as I can push off. Yeah. Yeah, good. Very nice. As long as I don't have an edge that'll crush a lot. Yep, it works. Don't worry, I'm going to do the very tip last. I just want to get the tip thin down. I'm going to do the contour on the sides last. I'm just trying to get it thinner. Get it tapered down and thin. And then I'll do the fancy sharpening on the tip last. Why last? Because I'm going to be doing heavy pressure on the base right after I do this. I don't want to snap the tip off. Did it thin it down at all? A little bit. Are these good for hunting when they're raw and durable and hard to nap? One of you commented, you know, hard to nap, hard to break. I wish that was always true. It's not always true. Some of these things are hard to nap, and then one little ding and it breaks in half, you know, by accident when you've got it hafted. How do I know? I don't know. Yes. All right. Very nice. Yeah, not bad for a raw stone. Okay. Still a little thick for my taste, but I don't want to risk it. I'll try to remove one more flake in there with percussion. That's it. I got room to mess with the width right here, so I'm going to see if I can take one more percussion flake. Of course, it's right in the middle. It's the most dicey area to take the last final thinning flake. Yep. In case you didn't know, I'm going to try to take a flake right here in this area. That's like the most dicey area at the end. Could break everything, or break the whole thing in half. Or cause a big step fracture. So everything's got to be perfect. Metal's got to be clean, smooth. The edge has to be clean and smooth on the workpiece. It has to be complete convexity. Complete convexity around the top. I'm going to shoot a flake into there, just one flake, maybe two. See if I can thin it just slightly more. That kind of worked, but it's not too good. See, it took a little flake out. It didn't go very far though. Same with that one, just right up next to it, same thing. It's a little bit better than I could have done with pressure, but not much. Did it do it? I felt like it did it that time. Yeah, good enough. It did it. It did it to my satisfaction. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've done the one this small. Yeah, step fracture. Oh well. I tried. I can get that step fracture out, hopefully. Probably. In a little bit. Okay. Come on. You're tough, but not that tough. All right. Reaching the limits of my ability to do this without step fracturing. Yeah, there are limits. Yikes. All right, we're gonna have to do this more carefully. More persnicatively. And if you look on the transcript, when I say persnicatively, it doesn't know what I'm talking about. It just puts down persnicity instead of persnicatively. Yeah. A lot of times when I say, or I make up a lot of weird words and it doesn't translate. It comes out weird on the transcript. It's funny. I think it's funny. You know, if I think it's funny, then that's all that matters. Because I'm the one napping, I gotta nap well, okay? So I gotta be in a good mood. Gotta. Have I napped in a bad mood before? Oh, yes. Have I been successful when I've napped in bad moods? Yes. But who knows, I could have even been more successful if I had calmed down a little bit. Who knows? I think I would have probably done better if I had not been so miserable some of those times. What would be the reasons for having misery? Lots of failures. Having rock that you thought was good, but it's no good. That makes you miserable. You're saying to yourself, man, I thought this batch of rocks was going to be good, but it ends up being all cracked or full of concrete, or the heat treat got ruined, and now I got to mess with a nasty heat treat that's not good. You know, just frustrating things like that can ruin your day. Your napping day. You still manage to knock some out. It is possible. I'm using a smaller steel tip for this indirect percussion, but there it goes. I was gonna say, but it's not working. Yeah, but it just worked right there. Yeah. Now let's see if that'll fit better. It's not that much better. I might be able to thin it down with pressure. Enough to get it in this haft. It's almost there. Yeah. Okay. We'll get there eventually. It's an eventuality. This material is not bad. I mean, I don't mind working it at this stage. It was a pain when I was breaking down that nodule. Yeah. Starting from a nodule is so much more of a hassle than starting with a flake. But if that's all you got is little bitty nodules, and you go to your cousin's house and they got a driveway full of flint, but it's all nodules like this size, you got no choice. You got no choices. Yeah. Nice. Cooperative. It's being cooperative for now. I can't get too cocky with it. I can't start singing its praises too soon, because then it'll catch up to me and say, wait a second. If I'm going to be an Arrowhead, I'm going to make you work for it. Yeah. Can't be all happy doing it. The rock doesn't like it when you're all happy doing it. You have to conceal your happiness and act like you're all gloomy. And then the rock will say, yeah, all right, so he's having a tough time. I might as well give it up and become an Arrowhead. I feel sorry for the guy. You got to make the stone feel sorry for you. Yeah. Then it'll say, okay, fine. Okay, fine. It's a charity case. I can deal with it for a charity case. This napper is a charity case, so I'm gonna be kind and let him nap an Arrowhead. That's what you gotta do. You do what you gotta do. Isn't it great that the Arrowhead's the same color as the pad? So great. And I can't seem to keep it on the black part. And the stained part doesn't stay stained. I just put some leather dye on it. Should be refreshing it after each Flintknapping session. Yeah, I know. trying to thin this down, and by going further, deeper and deeper, I should be able to get it thinner and thinner, but I don't know if it's working all that well. I gotta push harder. Get them flakes to travel further. Yes, yes, maybe. It's better. It's not too bad. Yeah, I'm gonna call that good. Just because. It's because I'm the napper. Alright, let's get the spatula tool and get to notching on this. Where are you? Notching and a little bit of edge work. I still need to do the symmetry. And this side's got a good barb on it, but this side's all crunchy, so I got to uncrunchify it. Oh yes. And I don't know what the transcript is going to write down for uncrunchify. I can only imagine. The edge is all crunchy. Why do I want to do that right now? It's less delicate right now. I don't know if you can see, but there's a little bitty step fracture on the edge there. I want to pop that out and get it thinner. Famous last words. It can be done. Yeah, yes, it can. It can be done. It can be done. So do it. Should be easy. All right, let's sharpen this. It seems to not be sharp enough to get in there. It seems like it's just sliding right off of the edge. Still sliding. Come on. It's messing with my edge symmetry. There it goes. One little pop, and that's all it was needed. That's all I needed. Yeah. It was just so stubborn. So yeah, I'm working on symmetry. All right, so is that deep enough for the base? Probably. Voila. No more step fracture on that side. Okay, so side notches. I gotta make this more narrow. The more narrow the side notch is, the cooler it looks. So I'll try. I shall try to make them a kind of narrow. Did it do it? I like to have a nice pop out, but that one created a stiff fracture. All right. It also blew out some of that side right there, but that can be fixed later in a little bit. All right, I still got to make this more narrow. Hold on. Skinnier. Okay. Nice pop out? Yes, nice pop out. Get rid of the step fracture. Come on. Come on. It didn't get rid of it. Stubborn. Yeah. As long as I get a good pop out. It's more important than getting rid of that step fracture. All right, good enough for that. Good enough for that side. I don't want to be too greedy. Yeah, the notch is not going to be symmetrical. I need to make it symmetrical. Dang it. Still not symmetrical. First it was too low, now it's too high. Oh well. Yeah, that's good enough. If I get too greedy, it's not going to come out right. See if the camera behaves itself. It may have just been overheating. Last night. Okay, so I'm just going to run a few more flakes and that'll be it. Yeah, I just want to thin it down a little bit. Yeah, I can't have everything. It's getting thinner. It's kind of expensive on the edge though, but it's getting thinner. I'm using up a lot of the edge, or I'm spending a lot of the edge, so it's kind of expensive. Okay, come on. I know you're raw stone, but you're not that raw. You are gravel chirp, but you're not that gravelly. Okay, come on. Just a little more cooperation. There it is. Symmetry is off, isn't it? Yeah. I thought I was being all good about the symmetry. Turns out I was not that good. Symmetry's off with the notches. Yeah, this is where everyone likes to do the big points, I think, because these smaller ones take just as long as the big ones, and there's no way to make a lot of money on these. No, which is fine. But yeah, almost done. We're not quite there yet, almost there. Yeah, I would have to get really persnickety to get in there and thin that tip much more than that. Okay, so that's it. Yeah. Good enough. I'm not going to do the other pieces. It's good enough. It's good enough of a demonstration. The notch is just going to have to be a little bit wider. It'll fit in there, and then you can do the cross hatching on the binding. Everything's cool. Is it still? Yeah, it's almost an inch. 15/16. So if your area allows barbs, that's a hunting point. Yeah, so gravel chert made into, small cobble chert made into arrowhead. So I'll get a screenshot like this, and then I'll move on. Can you see that? Is it seeable? Does it make sense? No. That looks okay. All right, there you go. That's it.